Hello everyone, this is Daniel Lee here with another Innistrad Draft, or Dark Ascension double Innistrad rather. This pack is reasonably good. The best cards in this pack are probably Tragic Slip and Niblis of the Urn. So I think my pick is going to be pretty clearly Tragic Slip. Drolf's Mind Crusher is actually reasonably good, but again, he does suffer from costing 6 mana and being reasonably slow. If I wasn't going to take Tragic Slip, I would probably take Niblis, but I think Tragic Slip is actually the best card in the pack, and it sends a much better signal because there are multiple good white cards and only one black card. So, yeah, I mean, and black is also my favorite color in this format, so, wow, this is a good pack. Alright, so, the pick here is either Wake Dancer or Fires of Undeath. It's actually interesting. Fires is very good, but, and this could be incorrect, but I think I'm actually going to take Wake Dancer. Like, I really like Wake Dancer. Well, that's hard. I really do like Wake Dancer more than most people, and it is a very good, like, aggressive card. And Fires does commit me to another color, although Black-Red is very good, and Fires is really good. Well, I still think I'm actually just going to take the Fires. I mean, that could be incorrect, but Fires is very good. So for this pack, it's either a Death's Caress or a Highborn Ghoul. I think the pick is probably just Death's Caress. I mean, Highborn Ghoul is good, but again, you can't really go wrong with just picking up a bunch of removal early on. Wow, somebody's going to have the nuts Loyal Cathar deck. This is like the third Loyal Cathar I'm going to have passed. This pack, it's pretty clearly Skur's Dag Flare. I mean, more removal, but this guy is really good. Yeah, keeping the white right on flowing. So I'm not going to get any white, but that's a good thing. I mean, I'm passing reasonable white, so I think the person next to me might be in white. I think I'm just going to take a Hinterland Hermit and try and go into a red-black. So I'm thinking the pick here, it's either Faithless Looting or Reap the Seagraph, and I think it's got to be Reap the Seagraph. Like, this is a better card than Faithless Looting, and even if you don't splash it back, it's still, like, a guy. So, I think that's fine. Following it up with another Reap the Seagraph or a Chosen of Markov, and I don't really have any ways to turn on this Chosen of Markov, but, I do have pretty strong incentive to be red over blue, so I think I'm just going to take Chosen of Markov, because also in red-black, that's the format where you have the most vampires to make this guy work, so I think it's going to be just Chosen of Markov. Then we have the choice between another Chosen of Markov and a Falconwrath Torturer. I'm actually not quite sure which one is better here. I think it's probably Chosen of Markov, but yeah, I'm just going to take Chosen of Markov. It's a 2/2, and it potentially has a better upside. Like, Torturer is, like, reasonable, but I am pretty sure just the Markov is better, because its upside is actually, like, quite good. Like, if I pick up Vampires in the other packs, you can turn this into a giant 4/4 pretty easily. And, you know, it is just a fine creature without even doing that, so it's kind of the ideal flip card in a sense. It's, like, it's fine without flipping, but if you flip it, it's actually, like, exceptional. Yeah, and I mean, while the Falconwrath Torturer does turn on the first one, I don't know, I think I'd rather just have a second one and aim to pick up some vampires in the following packs. I mean, so far I'm pretty happy with where I'm at. Like, most of these cards are pretty good, and like, I think the Fires pick, looking back, I think the Fires pick was fine, actually. I haven't really passed much black, so I don't think that I'm really going to be having trouble with black. I mean, Wake Dancer is a nice one, and somebody probably took it, but again, I think that the person I'm passing to would hopefully be in white, because of just all those, like, Loyal Cathars and whatnot, so I can, you know, give them all the white, and then hopefully get some black/red next pack. Also, passing Fires just probably makes people more inclined to be black, so in that sense, it's kind of like cutting a black card, even though it's not actually a black card. Here, there's really nothing for me. I mean, Sightless Ghoul is really bad. Like, at this point, I would actually rather just cut an Elgod Inquisitor. Yeah. I mean, some people don't value cutting cards, but it's like, if I'm not going to play any other card in the pack, I would rather make somebody else's deck worse, because if the nominal deck quality is worse, then, you know, you're essentially in a better spot. And you know, if by some freak, you know, act of nature I end up being in white despite passing all those white cards, like, you know, I've got a white body. And again, I'd pretty much rather always have this guy than a Sightless Ghoul. There's like very few decks where I would rather have a Sightless Ghoul than this guy. And judging by this first pack, it doesn't look like I'm going to be scraping the bottom of the barrel for playable. Wow. Okay, I'm pretty sure this just wheeled, so I'm really stoked about that, because Fires wouldn't have wheeled. I mean, again, maybe I'm just bad for ever contemplating that at all, but, like, this guy is really good. Wake Dancers is, like, Moan of the Unhallowed variant for 3. It's really good. And here, very easy Falcon Rat Torturer, very happy to have that. And it's going to be Heckling Fiends over Sightless Ghoul, because Sightless Ghoul is really horrible, and Heckling Fiends can actually be good some of the time. Yeah, kind of enough said. It's also nice because despite, yeah, it's going to be Wolves. Despite being in, black-red, I actually do have a fair amount of humans for the Skursdag Flare. Like, I have the Hermit, the Double Chosen, and the Wake Dancer, which is actually kind of unusual, because a lot of the time you don't get a lot of activations out of this guy. You kind of, like, play him, sack him, kill their guy, and then that's usually it. I mean, in this color combination, anyways. This guy's really good in black-white because of all the humans, but, yeah, he should be pretty good in this deck, I think. So, yeah, so this has been a pretty good pack. I mean, there's lots of playables, and ideally I'd maybe cut the Reef the Seagraph or something. But so what do we have? We got a Moorland Haunt and a Skursdag Cultist. It might just be Skursdag Cultist. Like, I'm definitely not gonna play the Moorland Haunt. Like, there's a Spider spawning if I wanted to do something wacky. No, I think I'm just gonna take the Cultist. I mean, it's not the greatest, but, like, if I do pick up something like Moan of the Unhallowed, or, I don't know, the best decks I've ever played this guy in were ones that were running things like Moan of the Unhallowed, because you can, you know, make multiple guys and sack them, or Reap the Seagraph to an extent, even though I probably won't be flashing this back. But the reason I keep referencing Moan of the Unhallowed is because of a Wake Dancer, which is a very similar card. You just have to trigger Morbid to do it. But actually, this guy works well for turning on Morbid, too. So I'm thinking the pick here is just going to be a Victim of Night, and I don't think that's very close, actually. I don't really have zombies either, so, like, Ghoul Razor's pretty bad in my deck, so yeah, Victim. This is also generally where I like to be in red-black, with just, like, a lot of removal, because that's pretty much what makes the deck work, is just being able to kill all their stuff, and then, you know, kill them. So yeah, so I mean, just Victim of Night, it is a good removal spell, and I think people, ooh, well, with all that talk of Moan of the Unhallowed, yeah, and interrupting my, you know, Victim of Night thought, yeah, it's Moan. It is by far the best card in this pack. I think it's one of the best uncommons in the set. It's really, really good. And this is, like, my favorite deck to have it in, too, minus maybe, like, blue-black, but I think that this is actually a better archetype. I'm not sure if, actually, if my, sipping my Coca-Cola, comes across in the microphone, but that's what that noise was, if it's audible. Yeah, so that Moan of the Unhallowed really makes me like this deck a lot more. Moan is just insane. This is probably like the uncommon that I have first picked the most in this set. I'm a huge fan. Because it kind of wins you the game, or maybe not wins you the game, but it is really good the first time you cast it, and then the second time you cast it, it wins you the game. Like, a lot of the time you don't end up getting to flashback Moan, and oh my god, well, that's exciting. Man, this has been a good draft to rave about Moan of the Unhallowed, because I just keep getting them, and that's exciting. If there's one thing better than one Moan of the Unhallowed, it's two. It's really, really hard to get mana screwed with this card, mana flooded with this card, because, you know, you can be sitting there on not that many guys with a lot of mana, and then you draw Moan of the Unhallowed, and you're in really good shape. So the pick here is Blood Crazed Neonate or Diagraph Ghoul, and the only reason I would even consider Neonate would be because of the Chosen of Markov, but that's still not as good as Diagraph Ghoul. This guy's really nice. He's a bear you play on turn 1, and, like, he always gets in a few points of damage, like, just because it's a turn 1 bear. And, you know, there's most cards in this set are fine if they're just, like, a 2-1 or a 2-2 for 2 mana, so this guy is, you know, a little bit above the curb. Yeah, I mean, and the fact that he comes in tapped, I've never really seen that as much of a downside, so. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of funny. It's actually looking like the weakest cards in this deck may actually be like the. No, it's probably Reap the Seagraph. So here, This is actually an interesting pick. It's either Altar's Reap, which would actually be good in this deck. Like, at this point, like, sacrificing stuff is very good with the double moan and stuff, because I have, you know, lots of creatures. But I think it's going to be Pitchburn Devils, because I think if I'm going to wheel a card out of that pack, it would probably be the Altar's Reap. In this pack, there is an incredibly late Bonds of Faith. And I think I'm just going to take a Geist Catcher's Rig. It's the best card in the pack, and it's kind of a nice, like, finisher. You know, it can come in 2 for 1. It's kind of a fat body. I've noticed that also, like, 3 is a very significant toughness in this format because a lot of the creatures are 2/2s, where 5 is an equally significant toughness, actually. Like, 4 toughness is much worse than 5 toughness. Similarly as, like, 2 toughness is much worse than 3 toughness. And I'm talking about this format specifically, but, so here, I think I'm just going to take a Nightbird's Clutches. Like, I probably am not going to play it, but it is, you know, a fine card, and, yeah, it's fine to pick up. I'm not going to be playing Corpse Lunge. This deck has plenty of removal, and Corpse Lunge is just really bad removal. I just really don't like it. So I think I'm just going to take on Night Revelers. Again, I probably won't play that either, but, you know, it's good to have. This pack, I actually like Village Cannibals, and this deck has a lot of humans, considering that it's black-red, so this fits right in. Huh. What sack effects do I have? Like, I think it's probably just going to be Typhoid Rats, but Traitorous Blood might be interesting. I have, gonna hide this Nightbird's Clutches. Yeah, I really don't have many sacrifice outlets, so yeah, I'm just gonna take a Typhoid Rats. I mean, okay, and here I'm just gonna take a Bell Ringer. Skeletal Grimace. I mean, I guess I don't need to explain my picks when it's getting down this low in the pack, but Traitorous Blood over Typhoid Rats actually is something to be considered in this deck. So yeah, after getting a couple Mono the Unhollows, that pack was pretty sweet. So yeah, all we need is something sweet, you know, some sweet rare to, like, top off the curb. Last time I was black-red, I had a Reaper from the Abyss and Micaeus the Unhollowed. That was pretty exciting. Just had, like, a, you know, triple black 6 drops that just end the game. Get a Champion of the Parish. Wow, this pack is really bad for me. Jeez. And I guess Burning Vengeance is terrible. There's really, well, it's not terrible, I guess, but Moan of the Unhallowed, like, Moan of the Unhallowed, this does not count as a card that you flash back with Burning Vengeance. That's just, like, extra value if you know, in case you maybe needed it. Man, this pack is really bad for me. This pack is actually fine for a white drafter, but, I mean, maybe I'll just take an Altar's Reap, like, really kills me to do that, but I think I'm just going to take an Altar's Reap. I was considering just rare drafting Champion, but, like, that's not even that good of a rare to rare draft. And follow it up with a Hainweir Watchkeep. And again, this is actually fine in the deck. It's a human sometimes and a beater the rest of the time. Yeah, this is definitely a Vampire Interloper deck. I mean, I guess Disciple of Griselbrand would also be okay in here because I can sacrifice, like, zombies and whatnot, but let's be realistic. Interloper is going to be a lot better. It's hopefully an aggressive deck, and Interloper also, you know, does good things with Chosen of Markov and whatnot. So here's just another Pitchburn Devils. I'm going to play this over, like, Night Revelers as the top of the curve. Here it's either Geist Flame or Blazing Torch, and I think it's just going to be Geist Flame. Blazing Torch is good, but Geist Flame is better. And a foil Walking Corpse, why not? I'm always happy to have a Walking Corpse. Wow, this pack is really good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, no, I'm not going to wheel anything out of this pack, but I'm just going to take a Deadway. Like, it sucks to be passing all these colorless Blazing Torches, but these cards are actually better, like Deadway, Tragic Slip, or sorry, not Tragic Slip, Geist Flame. So here, just Desperate Ravings, I guess. I mean, I'm definitely not going to be playing Manor Skeleton, and Desperate Ravings is a better card. Not that I'll play this either, but it's certainly better. I'm not really looking for playables here, so I think I'm just going to take, like, Night Revelers? Yeah, got a Night Revelers. Think I'm going to take Fortress Crab because I don't want to play against it out of all the other cards in that pack. Like, Crab is actually kind of annoying. Like, I think it is an undervalued card because most people are just like, oh, it's a fat, guy. But if you ever played that guy in a really slow deck, it's the best thing ever. He's just so unkillable. And, like, even if they do kill him with, like, a Victim of Night, it's like they just use a Victim of Night on a Fortress Crab. This guy should never go this late. I don't understand why Selhoff Occultist is always, like, there's, like, 4 cards left in this pack. Like, this card is so good. It can mill them to death by itself. Again, I don't think I'm playing this Fear of the Bitten, so I'm going to take the actual creature. Like, some of these cards in this pack, like, I'd actually rather have people play them than, like, just cut them. And, it's Vampiric Fury in here. I really don't have many vampires, I don't think. Yeah, I really don't. I'm just going to take it anyway. Somebody can have their purebloods. Sure. These picks actually just don't even matter, like, at all. But yeah, okay. So I think before I hide all these cards, I'm just going to, let the draft end and then put them into my deck. But I think this deck is, like, actually very good. Let me see. Let's get these 1-drops in there, like all the good 1-drops in there. Yeah, of which there are a lot. Typhoid Rats might get the big ugly axe because I don't like how not hard Typhoid Rats beats down, but it is a fine card to include. It's just better in slower decks because it's like a little guy that trades for a bigger guy. I'm not gonna play Reap the Seagraph, I don't think. Wake Dancer is the nuts. Mode. Again, I also actually don't know if I'm going to be playing this Guy's Catcher's Rig. I might have better cards, but put it in for the time being. Fires is bonkers. Watch Keep. I guess I'll put in Russet Wolves. I'm pretty sure that's one of the first cards that's going to get the cut, though. And the Pitchburn Devils. Oh, yeah, wow, I didn't even realize how many cards I had. Okay, so cards that are going to get cut. Russet Wolf. I think I'm going to cut Typhoid Rats. So what am I cutting here? I need like 2. Could cut this Altar's Reap, but that doesn't really seem that right. I mean, maybe it is, like, I guess I don't really need a lot of card advantage in this deck. Like, Moan is a ridiculous amount of card advantage, so is Wake Dancer, like, Geist Flame. I mean, maybe I'll just take out this Altar's Reap. I think the rest of my cards are, like, enough better to where I can afford to cut it. I kind of want to cut this Geist Catcher's Rig, too, but I'm pretty sure that's not correct. And this is definitely a 17 land deck with like double Moan and fires and whatnot. So I could just cut a bad 3-drop, but at the same time I maybe cut something higher off the curve. It's difficult. I don't know how actually aggressive this deck is going to be. I mean, no, this deck seems reasonably aggressive. It just kind of kills everything instead of trading off creatures. Well, anyways, I'm going to get down to the final cut.